I was signing closing documents when the lawyer paused. And you're aware your sister already sold the Montana property? My pen stopped mid-signature. What? The cabin. Closed 3 weeks ago. I assumed you'd coordinated. We own that together, equal shares. The lawyer's face changed. Did you sign off on the sale? No. He pulled up records, showed me a signature, my name, my handwriting, except I'd never seen these documents before. My hands went cold. My sister Bryn had forged my signature, sold property we'd inherited together, without my knowledge, without my consent. And if she'd done it once, what other properties are in our joint names? I asked quietly. He started typing. My name is Camilla Westbrook. And that Tuesday afternoon, sitting in a lawyer's office reviewing real estate records, was the moment I discovered my older sister had been systematically liquidating our shared inheritance. The properties our grandmother had carefully divided between us, worth over $2 million. And Bryn thought I'd never find out. She was wrong, because what she didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was that Grandma had built protections into everything. Protections Bryn had just triggered. Let me back up. Our grandmother, Dorothy Westbrook, passed away 18 months ago. She'd been a real estate investor. Smart, strategic, wealthy. When she died, she left her portfolio to me and Bryn. 50-50 split. 6 properties total. 2 rental homes, 3 commercial buildings, 1 cabin, worth approximately $2.3 million combined. The will was clear. Joint ownership. Equal decision-making. Neither could sell without the other's written consent. Grandma had been explicit about that. You girls need to work together, she'd said before she died. No one makes moves alone. I'd taken it seriously. Managed the properties carefully. Reviewed rental agreements. Maintained relationships with tenants. Bryn had seemed engaged too. Attended meetings. Reviewed documents. Asked questions. We'd made decisions together. Or so I thought. But sitting in that lawyer's office looking at forged signatures, I realized something. Bryn had been planning this. For months, maybe longer. The Montana cabin was just the first one I'd discovered. How many others had she already sold? And where was the money? Because I certainly hadn't seen a dime. I left the lawyer's office in shock, drove home on autopilot, called Bryn. She answered cheerfully. Hey Cam, what's up? We need to talk about the properties. Okay, what about them? The Montana cabin, it's sold. Pause. Oh yeah, I was gonna tell you. When? Soon, it just happened fast. Buyer came in with a cash offer. I didn't want to lose it. Bryn, we own that together. You can't just sell without telling me. I know, but the market was hot. I made an executive decision. That's not how this works. Cam, relax. I'll split the money with you, 50-50 like always. You forged my signature. Silence. Long, heavy silence. I did what? The closing documents have my signature. I never signed anything. That must be a mistake. Maybe the title company. Bryn, stop lying. Her tone changed, hardened. Fine. Yes. I signed for you, but only because you would have made it complicated, asked a million questions, slowed everything down. It's fraud. It's family. There's a difference. No, there isn't. I hung up, hands shaking, because my sister had just admitted to fraud, on a recorded line. I'd started recording our calls weeks ago. After she'd been weird about some rental income, after I'd noticed discrepancies, after my instincts told me something was wrong, now I had proof. I contacted my own attorney the next morning, not the family lawyer. Someone independent. Her name was Patricia Hollis. Real estate litigation specialist. I explained everything, showed her the forged signature, played her the phone call. She listened without interrupting. How many properties are we talking about? 6 originally. I only know about 1 sale so far. Let me pull records. She made calls, set requests, dug into public filings. An hour later, she had answers. 3 properties have been sold in the last 4 months. My stomach dropped. 3? The Montana cabin, a commercial building in Denver, a rental house in Portland. Combined value? Just over $1 million. Where's the money? That's what we need to find out. Patricia leaned forward. Your sister committed fraud, multiple times. We can press charges. Sue for restitution, potentially have her arrested. I want to know where the money went first. Why? Because something doesn't add up. Bryn's not stupid. She knows I'd find out eventually. Patricia nodded slowly. So either she's desperate or she thinks she can get away with it. Or both. We started building a case. Documentation, timeline, evidence, everything we'd need. But I wanted answers first. Before I destroyed my sister, I needed to know why. I did something I'd never done before. I hired a private investigator. Felt dramatic, paranoid, excessive. But I needed to know what Bryn was doing with $1 million. The investigator, James, was discreet, former police detective, professional. What am I looking for? He asked. Spending patterns, large purchases, anything unusual. You think she's hiding the money? I think she's doing something with it. I just don't know what. James worked fast. 3 days later, he called. I found something. We met at a coffee shop. He showed me bank records, credit reports, purchase histories. Your sister has been making regular payments to a rehab facility. Rehab? High-end treatment center, $60,000 a month. I stared at the documents. For who? Her husband. My brother-in-law, Cole. I barely knew him. They'd gotten married 2 years ago. Quick courthouse wedding. He seemed nice enough, quiet, kept to himself. What kind of rehab? Gambling addiction. James pulled out more documents. He's got debts, serious ones, almost $200,000 to some very unpleasant people. How unpleasant? The kind who break kneecaps. Suddenly, it made sense. Bryn wasn't greedy. She was desperate. Cole was in trouble. She was trying to save him by stealing from me. I didn't know how to feel. Angry? Yes. Betrayed? Absolutely. But also, complicated. If Cole was in danger, I understood the panic. I might have done something desperate too. But fraud? Forgery? Stealing from family? There had to have been another way. I called Bryn. We need to talk in person. About what? About Cole. About the money. About everything. Long silence. How did you? It doesn't matter. Meet me tomorrow, noon. The coffee place by Grandma's old house. Cam, I can explain. Tomorrow. I hung up, spent the evening thinking about what I wanted. Justice, revenge, reconciliation. I didn't know yet. But I knew I needed the truth. All of it. From Bryn's own mouth. Then I'd decide what to do. Patricia had prepared the legal documents. Lawsuit, criminal complaint, injunctions, everything ready to file. I just had to say the word. But I wanted to hear Bryn's story first. Wanted to understand. Wanted to give her one chance. One chance to come clean. To apologize. To make it right. If she took it, maybe we could find another way. If she didn't, then I'd unleash everything. Bryn arrived 10 minutes late. Looked tired. Older than her 34 years. Dark circles under her eyes. Hair pulled back messily. We sat in the corner booth. Ordered coffee neither of us touched. Tell me everything, I said. She took a breath. Cole had a problem. Started small. Fantasy sports, poker nights. Then it escalated. How much does he owe? Originally, $180,000. We've paid down some. Using my money, she flinched. Yes. Why didn't you ask me? Because you would have said no. You don't know that. Yes, I do. You've always been careful, responsible. You would have wanted a payment plan, legal contracts. You wouldn't understand urgency. Urgency? They were threatening him, Cam. Threatening us. Our house. Our safety. So you committed fraud. I saved my husband's life. I leaned back. By stealing from your sister. I was going to pay you back. How? You sold $1 million of property. Where's my half? It went to the debts, to rehab, to keeping us safe. You had no right. I had every right. He's my husband. And I'm your sister. The table went silent. Bryn's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry, I really am, but I didn't have a choice. You always have a choice. Easy to say when you're not in it. I pulled out documents, slid them across the table. What's this? Legal action, fraud charges, civil suit, all ready to file. Her face went white. You wouldn't. I would. I should. Cam, please, but I'm giving you one chance. One. She looked at me desperately. What do you want? Full accounting. Every property sold, every dollar spent, complete transparency. Okay. And a repayment plan. Legal. Binding. With interest. I can't afford. Figure it out. Get a loan. Sell your house. I don't care. But you pay me back every cent. How long? 5 years. That's over $20,000 a month. You should have thought of that before committing fraud. Bryn wiped her eyes. And if I do this? If I agree? I don't press charges. We keep this private, family only. And if I don't, I gesture to the documents. Then I file everything. You get arrested, prosecuted, probably convicted. Your life is destroyed. You'd really do that to me? I met her eyes. You really stole from me. So yes. She sat there, processing. I need to talk to Cole. You have 24 hours. Then I file. I stood up, left the documents on the table, and walked out. leaving my sister to decide, her freedom or her consequences. I hope she chose wisely, but I wasn't optimistic, because desperate people make desperate choices, and Bryn had already proven what she was willing to do. Bryn called me that night. I'll do it, the repayment plan, all of it. Relief washed over me. Okay, my lawyer will draw up the paperwork. Cam, thank you. Don't thank me, just pay me back. We hung up. I called Patricia. She agreed. Let's formalize it. Patricia drafted a settlement agreement, detailed, binding, enforceable. Full repayment, $1,047,000 plus 6% interest. Payment schedule, monthly installments over 5 years. Default clause, immediate legal action if she missed payments. And one more thing. A clause I insisted on. If Bryn sold any remaining shared properties without consent, the entire balance became due immediately, plus criminal charges. Patricia raised an eyebrow. This is harsh. She forged my signature 3 times, stole $1 million. This is generous. We met 3 days later. Bryn, Cole, me, and our lawyers signed everything, notarized, filed, legal and binding. Bryn looked relieved. Cole looked ashamed. I felt empty, because I'd won. But it didn't feel like victory. It felt like loss of trust, loss of family, loss of the relationship I thought we had. But I'd protected myself. That had to be enough. I left that meeting, went home, and tried to move forward, tried to forget, tried to believe this was over. I was wrong. Because 3 months later, I got a call. Miss Westbrook, this is Roger from First National Title. Yes? I'm calling about the commercial property on 5th Street. Your signature is needed for closing. My blood went cold. What closing? The sale. Your sister indicated you'd approved. I approved nothing. Silence. I see, I'll need to halt the transaction. I hung up, called Patricia immediately. She did it again. What? Bryn tried to sell another property without telling me. She signed the agreement, and violated it 3 months later. Patricia swore. That triggers the immediate payment clause. And criminal charges. Are you sure you want to go nuclear? I thought about the coffee shop. About Bryn's tears, about her promises, all lies. I'm sure. I'll file everything today. Within hours, the legal machine started moving. Demand letter for full payment, $1,047,000 plus interest. Criminal complaint for fraud and forgery. Injunction preventing any further property transactions. All filed, all official, all devastating. Bryn called me screaming. How could you do this? How could I? How could you? I needed the money. You signed an agreement. Cole's debts aren't paid. They're threatening us again. That's not my problem. We're family. You keep saying that, right before you betray me. She started crying. Please, don't do this. I'll stop. I promise. You promised before. This time is different. It's too late, Bryn. I hung up, and didn't answer when she called back, because I was done. Completely done. The legal proceedings moved quickly. Bryn couldn't pay the full amount, obviously. Her house went into foreclosure. She and Cole had to move. The criminal charges were pending. Prosecutor was interested, very interested. Clear case of fraud, she told me. Multiple instances documented, will likely prosecute. How long? If convicted, 3 to 5 years. My sister. In prison, because of me. I tried to feel vindicated, tried to feel justified. Mostly, I felt sick. But then James, the investigator, called. I found something else. What? Your sister had a partner. What do you mean? Someone helped her forge the documents, someone with access to your signatures, your personal information. Who? He sent me a name, and my world tilted. The family lawyer, the one who'd handled Grandma's estate, the one I'd trusted. He'd been helping Bryn the whole time, providing blank signature pages, notarizing forged documents, facilitating the sales, for a cut. 20% of everything Bryn sold. He'd made over $200,000 from our family's inheritance. I sat down heavily. Can you prove it? I have bank records, email trails, everything. Send it to Patricia. This changed everything. Patricia filed additional charges against the lawyer, against his firm. The state bar got involved. So did the FBI, because he'd done this before, to other families, other estates. A pattern of fraud spanning years. And Bryn had been his willing accomplice. The media picked it up. Attorney charged in multi-million-dollar estate fraud scheme. Bryn's name was in the articles, so was mine, as the victim. People I hadn't talked to in years reached out. I'm so sorry. I can't believe your own sister. You must be devastated. I was. But also angry. Because Bryn had dragged me into this. made me the public face of family betrayal, made my private nightmare public knowledge. I wanted privacy, wanted obscurity, wanted this to just be over. But it wasn't over, it was just beginning. Because what happened next? Nobody could have predicted. Not me. Not Bryn. Not anyone was about to unveil itself, and it would change everything. Again. I got a call from an unknown number. Miss Westbrook, this is Andrew Castellano. I'm an attorney representing Dorothy Westbrook's estate. My grandmother's been dead 18 months. Her estate is settled. Not entirely. There's a provision that was time delayed. What provision? Can we meet? This needs to be discussed in person. We met the next day. Andrew was older. 60s. Distinguished. He opened a briefcase. Your grandmother was very specific about her wishes. I know, I've read the will. This isn't in the will, it's a separate trust. Time restricted. He handed me documents. I read slowly, then read again. This can't be real. It's very real. Grandma had created a secondary trust, held by an independent firm, containing an additional property, worth $22 million, a commercial complex I'd never heard of, and it had one unique condition. It would only transfer to me if specific circumstances occurred within 2 years of her death. Those circumstances? If one heir tried to defraud the other. If legal action was taken. If the fraud was documented and prosecuted. Then, and only then, the property transferred. To the victim. To me, exclusively. Your grandmother anticipated this, Andrew said. She knew? She knew your sister's character, her husband's problems. She hoped for the best, but planned for the worst. I stared at the documents. Grandma had set a trap. For Bryn, I couldn't process it. Grandma had known Bryn would try something, known I'd have to fight back. And she'd rewarded me for it. With property worth more than everything Bryn had stolen. Why didn't she just leave it to me outright, I asked, because she wanted Bryn to have a chance to prove herself trustworthy. And if Bryn hadn't stolen, the property would have been divided equally, after 2 years. But she did steal. Yes, which triggered the conditions. The property is now yours alone. Andrew pulled out more documents. There's more. More? Your grandmother left instructions. If this scenario occurred, you're to use the proceeds to establish a foundation. What kind of foundation? One that helps families navigate estate fraud, provides legal resources, protects vulnerable heirs. I almost laughed. Grandma's final move, turning family betrayal into something meaningful. There's one more thing, Andrew said. What? Your sister can never know about this. It's a condition of the transfer. Why? Your grandmother's instructions were clear. This is between you and her legacy. Bryn made her choices. She faces those consequences. She doesn't get to know what she lost. Exactly. Grandma was still teaching lessons. Even from the grave. I signed the transfer documents. The property became mine, all mine. $3.2 million plus the foundation mandate. The criminal trial for Bryn and the lawyer proceeded. Both pleaded guilty, part of plea deals. The lawyer got 4 years, lost his license, permanent disbarment. Bryn got 18 months, plus restitution, plus probation. She'd served time in a minimum security facility. Cole divorced her, couldn't handle the shame, the debt, the consequences. He disappeared, left her to face everything alone. At Bryn's sentencing, I attended. Sat in the back, watched her stand before the judge. She looked broken, small, defeated. The judge was not sympathetic. You violated trust, betrayed family, committed fraud repeatedly. Your sister gave you chances. You squandered them. This court shows mercy to those who show remorse. You showed greed. 18 months, followed by 5 years probation, and full restitution. Bryn cried. I felt nothing. No victory, no satisfaction, no vindication, just emptiness. Because I'd won everything and lost a sister. She was led away in handcuffs. I left the courthouse and drove to the commercial property. My property now. Stood looking at it. This beautiful building Grandma had purchased quietly, held secretly, given strategically. And I understood. This wasn't about money. It was about character, about choices, about who you become when tested. Bryn had been tested and failed. I'd been tested too and apparently passed. Grandma's final lesson. I sold the property 6 months later for $3.4 million. Used the money exactly as Grandma instructed. Established the Dorothy Westbrook Family Trust Foundation. Providing free legal services to families facing estate fraud. Educational resources about inheritance protection. Support for fraud victims. It launched quietly, no press release, no announcement, just started helping people. Families like mine, siblings who'd been betrayed, heirs who'd been stolen from. We helped them fight back. Document, prove, win. The foundation grew. More cases, more victories, more families protected. I became the director, my full-time work. Grandma's legacy. Turned from pain into purpose. One day, I got a letter. From Bryn. Prison stationery. I almost didn't open it, but curiosity won. Cam, I know you probably won't read this. I wouldn't blame you. I've had a lot of time to think, to understand what I did. I was wrong. Completely wrong. I let fear drive me, let desperation justify cruelty. I betrayed you, our family, Grandma's trust. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I want you to know, I'm sorry. Truly, deeply sorry. I hope you're doing well. I hope you found peace, Bryn. I read it twice, felt nothing. Then something, then nothing again. Maybe someday I'd forgive her. Maybe not. Either way, I was okay. Bryn was released after 14 months. Good behavior. She moved to a different state, started over. New name, new life. Away from everything. She didn't contact me. I didn't contact her. We existed in separate worlds now. Connected by blood. Separated by choices. I heard through distant relatives she was working retail. Living in a small apartment. Paying restitution monthly. Still $800,000 in debt to me. She'd be paying until she was 60, if she even lived that long. The weight of that debt. That shame. That permanent record. Some people said I should forgive the debt. Show mercy. Move on. But the foundation lawyer advised against it. It's not about the money. It's about accountability. She needs to face the full weight of her choices. Otherwise, she learns nothing. I kept the repayment plan active. Every month, $1,400 arrived, from Bryn's paychecks, garnished automatically, going into the foundation, helping other families, her theft funding their protection. Poetic justice. Grandma would have appreciated the irony. The foundation helped 70 families that first year, prevented over $5 million in fraud, prosecuted 12 bad actors, changed laws in 3 states, made a difference, real, measurable difference. And every success felt like honoring Grandma, like fulfilling her vision, like turning tragedy into triumph. 2 years after everything ended, I got a call from James, the investigator. I thought you'd want to know. Know what? Cole, your former brother-in-law. What about him? He's dead. I sat down. How? Gambling debts. Caught up with him in Nevada. They found him in the desert. Jesus. Thought you should know, in case Bryn reaches out. She didn't. Not then. Not ever. But I thought about it, about Cole's choices leading to his death, about Bryn's choices leading to prison, about my choices leading here, to a foundation, a purpose, a life. We all made choices, and we all faced consequences, some worse than others, but all deserved, all earned. I attended a foundation event that week, helped a mother whose son had stolen her inheritance, watched her cry when we won her case, watched her thank me, watched her start to heal. And I realized something. I'd healed too. Not from forgiveness, not from reconciliation, but from purpose, from helping others, from taking my pain and making it useful. That was Grandma's final gift. Not the property, not the money, but the transformation. From victim to advocate, from betrayed to empowered, from broken to whole. The foundation's 3rd anniversary was marked by a documentary. A filmmaker had heard our story, wanted to feature us. I agreed, reluctantly. Inheritance Thieves Fighting Family Fraud. It aired on streaming platforms, told my story, Bryn's crimes, the foundation's impact, interviews with families we'd helped, with lawyers we'd partnered with legislators we'd influenced. Bryn's face was blurred, name changed, protected. But everyone who knew us recognized the story. The documentary went viral. Millions of views, articles, podcasts, interviews. I became the face of inheritance protection. Speaking at conferences, testifying before legislatures, training lawyers. It was overwhelming, but important, because for every family we helped, there were thousands more, still suffering, still being stolen from, still believing they had no recourse. We gave them hope, tools, justice, one case at a time. The foundation expanded, national reach, partnership with law schools, pro bono network. We were making systemic change, and it all started because my sister stole from me, because Grandma predicted it. Because I fought back. Strange how pain becomes purpose, how betrayal becomes mission, how loss becomes legacy. 5 years after the criminal conviction, I got an email from Bryn's email address. Subject, I saw the documentary. I almost deleted it, but I opened it. Cam, I watched the documentary about the foundation, about what I don't know what to say. I'm proud, I'm ashamed, both. What I did destroyed us, I know that. But somehow you turned it into something beautiful. Grandma would be so proud of you. I'm so sorry I forced you down this path, but I'm glad you found purpose in it. You deserve every good thing. I won't contact you again. I just needed you to know. Bryn. I read it several times. Felt the familiar nothing, then something, then nothing. I didn't respond, didn't need to. She'd said what she needed to say. I'd heard it, that was enough. I deleted the email and moved on, because that's what I'd learned. Moving on doesn't require forgiveness, it doesn't require reconciliation, it just requires choosing yourself. Choosing your peace. Choosing your path forward. I'd chosen mine. And it was good. Really good. Better than I could have imagined. Built from pain, forged in betrayal, strengthened by survival. Grandma's legacy lived on. Through me, through the foundation, through every family we helped. That was enough. More than enough. It was everything. The foundation's 5th year brought unexpected news. A lawsuit against us from Bryn, claiming the foundation's existence violated her privacy, that the documentary had defamed her, that she deserved compensation. I couldn't believe it. After everything, after the apology email, after years of silence, she was suing for money. Again, Patricia handled it personally. This is frivolous. It'll get dismissed. Why is she doing this? Desperation. She's still drowning in debt. Probably thinks this is a way out. The lawsuit claimed emotional distress from public exposure, loss of employment opportunities, damage to reputation. She wanted $500,000, $500,000, from the foundation built on her theft. The audacity was breathtaking. We filed a motion to dismiss, included every piece of evidence. Her guilty plea, the criminal conviction, the documented fraud, the fact that she'd agreed to everything. The judge took one look. Dismissed with prejudice, meaning she could never file again, and ordered her to pay our legal fees. Another $15,000 added to her debt. Bryn had tried one last con, and failed spectacularly. I felt nothing but tired of her choices, tired of the drama, tired of her inability to just accept consequences. But the foundation kept growing, kept helping, kept winning, and that mattered more than Bryn's latest disaster. Year 7 brought a different call. From the state prison. This is a courtesy call. Bryn Westbrook has been readmitted. For what? Violation of probation, attempted fraud. She'd done it again, tried to scam someone else, got caught. Back to prison. Another 2 years. I hung up, told no one, just filed the information away and kept working. Because Bryn's story wasn't mine anymore. I'd moved past it, moved past her, built something bigger, something that mattered. The foundation helped its 1,000th family that year. Prevented over $50 million in fraud, changed laws in 12 states, trained 500 lawyers. We were making real impact, saving real families, creating real change, and I was proud, not of what happened, but of what I'd built from it. Grandma's vision, realized, expanded, thriving. I visited her grave on the anniversary, brought flowers, sat on the grass. I did it, Grandma, just like you wanted. The wind rustled the trees and I felt peace, complete, total peace. Not because I'd forgiven Bryn, not because the pain was gone, but because I'd transcended it, used it, transformed it into legacy. The foundation's 10th anniversary gala was beautiful. 200 attendees, families we'd helped, lawyers we'd partnered with, donors who believed in the mission. I gave a speech about Grandma, about inheritance protection, about fighting back. I didn't mention Bryn, didn't need to. The work spoke for itself. After the speech, a young woman approached. Miss Westbrook, I wanted to thank you. For what? My uncle stole my inheritance 2 years ago. I didn't know what to do. Your foundation helped me, gave me a lawyer, we won. She started crying. I got everything back, and he's in prison now. You saved me. I hugged her and understood. This was why. This moment, this transformation, this was what mattered. Not my pain, not Bryn's betrayal, not even Grandma's clever trap. But this, helping someone else, preventing their nightmare, protecting their inheritance, their future, their peace. That was legacy, real, meaningful, lasting legacy. And I was living it. Every single day, Grandma would be so proud. I was proud too, finally, completely, of who I'd become. Not despite the betrayal, but because of how I'd handled it. That was the unexpected unveiling. Not property or money, but purpose. Bryn was released again after 18 months. She'd aged badly. Prison changes people, repeat offense changes them more. She moved to a coastal town, far from everyone, from everything. Started over for the third time. I heard she was working at a laundromat, living alone, no friends, no family, no future, just existence. Paying her debt until she died, $1,400 a month, every month, forever. Some people said it was too harsh, that I should show mercy, release the debt, let her move on. But I never would. Not out of cruelty, out of principle. She'd made choices, repeatedly, deliberately, knowing the consequences, and she'd face those consequences fully, completely, until the debt was paid. That was justice, not revenge. Justice. The foundation thrived, 1,500 families helped, 100 million in fraud prevented, 23 legislative changes, national recognition, awards, grants, expansion. We'd become the leading organization in inheritance protection, all because Bryn stole from me, all because Grandma prepared for it, all because I fought back. The irony was perfect. Bryn's greatest betrayal became my greatest triumph. Her theft funded protection for thousands. Her crime created justice for many. That was the unexpected unveiled. Not just property, not just money, but transformation, complete, permanent, meaningful. I received one final communication from Bryn. Not an email, not a call, a letter, handwritten, brief. Cam, I'm dying. Pancreatic cancer. 3 months maybe. I don't want your pity. Don't want reconciliation. I just wanted you to know. You were right. About everything. I made terrible choices, faced deserved consequences. You turned pain into purpose. I turned purpose into pain. The foundation is everything Grandma hoped for. You honored her better than I ever could. I'm sorry. For all of it. Not because I'm dying, but because I finally understand. What I took from you wasn't just money. It was trust, family, future, and you built something better anyway. That's who you always were. I just never saw it. Goodbye, Cam. Be well. Bryn. I read it once, put it in a drawer, and went back to work. 3 weeks later, I got notification. Bryn had died. Alone in a hospice, no service, no funeral, no mourners, just gone. The debt died with her. $647,000 still owed, never to be collected. I felt empty. Not sad, not relieved, just empty. We'd been sisters once, now she was just gone. And I was here, still building, still helping, still living Grandma's vision. The foundation continued, grew, thrived. 2,000 families helped and counting. Lives changed, futures protected, all because of choices. Hers, mine, Grandma's. We all chose, we all faced consequences. Some destroyed themselves, some built legacies, I'd built mine. From betrayal, from pain, from loss, into something beautiful, something lasting, something that mattered. That was the unexpected unveiled, not punishment, not revenge, not even justice, but transformation, complete, permanent, redemptive. Grandma had known all along that pain could become purpose, that betrayal could build legacy, that the tested could triumph, not by destroying others, but by becoming more. I'd become more than I'd imagined, more than Bryn could comprehend, more than Grandma could have known. But exactly what she'd hoped for, her final lesson learned, her final gift received, her final legacy, me. Building, growing, helping, forever changed. Forever grateful, forever honoring what she'd taught. That character is revealed in crisis, and I'd revealed mine. Not perfect, but enough. More than enough. Everything.